Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me. I am Yoshi Lan, and today I'm going to talk about life. It is going to be a little bit different from my other videos because normally I just go into describing things on an energetic level, but this video we're going to get into spiritual philosophy and a lot of other stuff. Who knows where this is going to go. I didn't plan what I was going to say. I'm just going to talk about life. Okay. So life on a spiritual level, energetic level, is a combination of a physical entity with a spiritual entity. Okay, so life is everywhere. Okay, the planet Jupiter. Okay, the planet Jupiter is alive. The planet Mercury is alive. The sun is alive. The sun has a spirit. Okay, so there's life everywhere. This crystal, this pen is something that I made that's manufactured. Okay, so it doesn't have life yet, but it can have life if I choose to. Okay, it's a combination of a spiritual entity with a physical entity. So it can be anything, it can be anywhere, and it can be at any time, any dimension, any reality. Okay, so very quick and simple. That's the energetic aspect of life. That's it. A spiritual connection between a spiritual entity and a physical entity. Okay, this yin and yang aspect. That's life. Now, what is life, and is there more to it on a more philosophical level? Yes, there's so much to it. And the truth is, life is whatever you want to make of it. Now, let me give you some examples so that you can understand more in the grand scheme of things. Because a lot of people tend to think that there's not much more to life, that their life is so insignificant. How could they possibly impact the world? Okay, well, here's food for thought so that you can understand whether your life really has meaning or not, or contributes to the greater whole or not. Okay, so on one side, we're going to take a stroll down sunshines and rainbows. So this person has chosen a very empowering path or very benevolent path. And so the stuff that they say, the stuff that they do with integrity, with all this other stuff, it does make an impact on other people's lives. So what happens? Their community, their friends, their family, those people, after that person passes, will continue those energies. Okay, so they're adding to the beauty of the universe by being this amazing and harmonious and beautiful individual, by being benevolent and caring. You can add more beauty. So even though that person is no longer present in the physical body, they're still present in a spiritual sense, but they're no longer present in a physical body. They're still leaving an impact. This impact creates karmic energies. Karmic energies can be either heavy or positive. Okay, they can be light or heavy, rather, and they could be either dark or light. Okay, karmic energies can be anything. It is a consequential energy based on an action. So do you want to create karmic energies that are beautiful and uplifting, or do you want to create karmic energies that create discord and war and disagreement? Okay, one person can inspire a whole civilization. Think about Martin Luther King. Did his life had meaning? The civil rights movement, that was thanks to one powerful individual. And you can do this on a smaller scale. He chose to do it on a larger scale, and you can too. There is nothing that limits you. The only thing that limits a person's influence and the scale of their influence is themselves, what they choose and what they believe, okay, what they think they can do, and to the extent that they can change things. So that's that aspect. Now let's take a look at the other side. Okay, the other side, the dark and dismal part, the terrible and horrible aspect, the malevolent side of things. Somebody who chooses to believe that life has no meaning, a nihilist or anarchist. Okay, somebody who behaves a certain way. And maybe they also achieve success and power. And what happens to that power? It's used to suppress, it's used to oppress. Maybe it's not even that person. Okay, more food for thought. How about this person just lived their life the way it is? And so they raised a child that grew up in this really messed up and twisted environment based on this parent's thinking. Okay, and I'm not talking about a gender because this transcends gender. It's strictly about a way of thought and a way of passing down energy. Either male or female can pass down energy, so it doesn't matter what gender it is. The child also doesn't matter what gender it is, will pick up these energies. They will learn these energies. It has corrupted their very view of life and the world and reality. Okay, and let's just say that this child happens to end up like Hitler, who creates massive genocide. Does your life have more meaning now? Certainly, it has more meaning. But in what way? It's created slaughter, it's created pain, it's created suffering, it's created chaos, it created a world war. Okay, that's something that's passed on. It's not just Hitler's fault, it's not just Hitler's thing. That's how he was that's how he was raised. That's the environment he was in. So it's a mixture of all these things. His mentors, okay, his mentors, philosophical mentors, his parents, his society. All of these things contributed to what Hitler is and what he was able to do. So on one side, you have Martin Luther King, somebody who helped and was responsible for creating that type of individual. His parents, okay, his parents, as well as his culture, as well as the society, helped shape Martin Luther King. Likewise, this side of things, parents, society, culture, philosophers helped shape Hitler. So if you don't believe your life has meaning, what happens? You're no better than cancer, because cancer starts off with that one cell who stops thinking that it's connected to anything. The cell doesn't know that it's connected to all this other stuff. It stops receiving energy from the body's energetic field. This is what cancer is. It's disconnected cells. It's cells that are disconnected and are operating from an energy that is disconnected. It takes on its own life. That's why it keeps taking and taking without any regard to the host body. It takes over. It just takes that one cell, okay? And then that one cell becomes 2 cells. And then those 2 cells become 4 cells, becomes 8, 16, 32, 64, until it kills a person. So yeah, life is a really beautiful and wonderful thing, but it could also be equally destructive. A person can choose based on their actions and free will, despite their circumstances, despite their lifestyle and upbringing and their parents, you know. It's not like Martin Luther King had it, you know, was in the heyday. He's in the middle of the civil rights movement. He is the civil rights movement, meaning he went through a lot of trouble. He went through a lot of strife to become who he was. And yet, despite all of that adversity, he still maintained his integrity. He still maintained his purpose. So he was that one person to help uproot and bring down a carcinogenic philosophy and way of doing things in America. Anything separationist, anything separatist, any type of that compartmentalization aspect is carcinogenic. Spiritually, philosophically, it's carcinogenic. Disconnectedness is carcinogenic. So if you know somebody who is a nihilist or an anarchist or somebody who doesn't think that there's a point in life, scientists who subscribe to the belief that there is no God, there's nothing special about the universe, everything is random. Okay, there's no meaning, there's no order, there's no organization, it's all by accident. What kind of life is that person going to live? What kind of energy does that person have in their own life to believe that kind of stuff? Their life is going to seem random and chaotic, just as their belief systems are. And because they're manifesting that, and because their reality is that, other people will pick up on it and choose to start believing that too. What a way to live, right? Do you choose to believe that things are disconnected? Let's keep it consistent. Do you choose to believe that things are disconnected and it's nihilistic, or do you choose to believe that things are connected and existential and transcendental and all this other amazing stuff that has been proposed and forwarded in history to counterbalance all the really crazy and nonsense stuff in history? It's all of our choices. And personally, for me, I choose to be on this side. We are connected. There is meaning. You can look at it in the geometry of things, right? There's fractals. Fractals are sacred geometry that's replicable on any scale. If you look at the Fibonacci sequence, the spiral galaxy, a whirlpool, a snail's shell, all of these things have the same structure. So obviously, from those perspectives and those key indicators in our physical reality, there is an inherent order. There is an inherent beauty. There is a connectedness that makes sense. But everybody has free will. So if you choose to believe that, no, actually life is meaningless, life has no meaning, life is chaotic, life is this, life is that, guess what? The universe is just going to give you more of what you believe it is to be, because everybody is a divine and conscious creator. And until people choose to believe otherwise, or realize or open themselves up to understanding otherwise, then this is what they have: death, betrayal, anguish, whatever you want to put in this. The stuff that's in the tarot decks. Okay, the stuff that the tarot decks are based off of. This is why I don't use tarot, because it's based on restriction. It's based on chaotic energies, darkness, this ugly, gritty stuff that doesn't have to be the truth of reality. But on the flip side, we also have these oracle decks that's just all sunshines and rainbows and angels, and neither of them really represent reality. So when you do a reading, when you get a reading from somebody, get it from somebody who is responsible, who reads it from an energetic level. Because it doesn't matter if you use a tarot deck. What matters is how you interpret the energies. So I do own a couple tarot decks, a couple oracle tarot decks, and I also own a bunch of oracle decks. But when I use them, I read the energy. So it's a very neutral way of reading things. It's the closest to the truth that you can get. Okay? So the question is, what is life to you? What are your things about life? How do you think about life? And maybe it's time to re-examine what you think about life. What is your mindset? Because your mindset is the underlying thing that pins all of the aspects of your reality. Everybody has a collection of mindsets that they don't address and is creating all of these things that are unpleasant in their own life. So what are those things? When you're aware of it, you come to a place of enlightenment, of empowerment, to be able to change this for yourself and start creating what you actually want. All right. Thank you so much for joining me. Hopefully you found this information very enlightening, and maybe you didn't realize that you were in the middle or you were one or the other. Maybe you know a nihilist, or maybe you were a nihilist and this is really resonating for you. You're welcome to write those down in the comments. I'm very interested in reading other people's experiences. And also, if you'd support me, I'd like you to subscribe to my channel and also like my videos, and so sharing them with other people, because I'm sure this message will resonate with a special particular someone who is going through some difficult times in their life. And those difficult times don't have to last a long time. Some people go through the dark night of a soul and it lasts 15 years, 30 years, 40 years. The dark night of the soul doesn't have to last that long. Okay, my dark night of the soul was about 4 years. Doesn't have to be that long. Okay, 4 years as opposed to 40 years. Hells yeah. Okay, I'm doing so much more with my life now and with my spiritual work and studies, and so excited about all these things that I can be learning and that I'm starting to bring into my own life by choosing to believe, by choosing to change my mindsets, okay? By shifting my understanding of things, okay? I slipped for a second there. If you know and talk to me often, you'll know that I do not believe in anything, but it's still so ingrained in our system that there will be times where I slip and use the word believe or belief. Okay? No such thing. Okay? No such thing. The energy of belief does not make any sense. It's not concrete. Okay? And believing in something is just stagnated energy. And that's not what I'm about. And that's not what spiritualism is about either. Spirituality is flow and dynamic equilibrium and beauty and harmony. Okay? All right. Namaskara. I'll see you guys around in the next video. Have a great day.